introduce a new Dart library called shelf-form-validator. You can find it on the pub.dev. Yeah, so it's called shelf-form-validator. If you just type that in the search, you should find it here. And yeah, you can install it either pasting this in your pub spec, or you can just run the CLI command here. And basically what it does is it makes it a lot easier to validate forms. So I'll give an example here of a form I'm working on. So you can see, let me just refresh the page. Okay, so this is the form I'm working on here, and we want to check every field is filled in correctly. So you can do that the slow way, and do lots of validation logic. But I thought I'd create this library here. Yeah, and I'll show you how to use it. So basically, you create a schema. So I'll give you an example here. This file here I have in a directory called schemas. This is in my main lib directory, and this is a shelf app. So it's a CLI Dart app that runs a server, a TCP server, which is maintained by the the Dart team. And I think PubSpec as well is shipped out with a shelf, and that's very performant. So yeah, it's a great server. It's a bit low level, but you can build a few kind of tools around shelf. They're quite easy to do, and you can make it more workable, kind of fully fledged kind of web framework. But it's great for my purpose here. I just want to serve a front end. So I've got this form. This is to sign up registered users. This is for my new website called Consoler. Yeah, so I've got this form here. The first thing I do is create a schema, which is basically a Dart class. And then basically what I'm doing here is, I declare all my attributes here. Now, once I have this method here, this public method, which is a factory method that returns a new instance of register. And what it's doing here, if I show you the root here, we're getting the form data, calling URI split query string. That basically just gets a query string, which is where the form data lives, and sticks it into like a map. So you've got a map with a string, and then you see here I'm just picking off each bit, each value here, and then this is where I'm calling validator. So you can import shelf-form-validator like this, shelf-form-validator / shelf-form-validator.dart. Yeah, so you basically create an instance of validator, and then you can chain these add validator methods, and each one of these represents the field in your schema. So you've got your fields here, your attributes, your class members, and then so that just represents that. So if you want to skip validation on a particular field, if it's optional, then you can just you don't need validation here. But you might want to check that it's of a certain type. So in here we have the second argument that we pass to this add validator method is a list of validation classes. And there's a couple of different validation classes. If you go to the pub spec here, if we come down here, you'll see the different validation classes. So we've got empty string, which checks obviously for an empty string, string length, pass in a length, and it's going to check, make sure that, say for example, your password is 8 characters long. Check that it's a valid email, uses regex for that, and then fields match. So you can check, say for example, here I'm doing a confirm password. It's going to check against the password field, and it's using reflection to do a lot of this. So some people have said, oh, reflection is not a good thing to use, but I think it's part of the standard library. So in terms of like bottlenecks, I haven't come across any bottlenecks using the reflection package, and which is in the standard library. So I think unless it gets deprecated, then I'll cross that bridge. But using reflection just makes this library so much easier. Makes the API very, very simple and easy to use. So I don't have to generate any code or anything. We can just call it dynamically. So it's a great way to make code just easier. Anyway, so that's your validator, and then you just call validate, which will actually do the validation. And then you'll see here, I'm just logging out from here. So what we do a try catch here with it, and we also ship a validation exception, which again comes from shelf-form-validator. So I'm in my root now, my shelf root. And what I do is try catch. So I submit my form data. Okay. So then I'm going to create my schema here. And inside the schema, obviously, we've got the validation logic. And then that will raise an exception if there's any errors. And then the errors look like this. It's basically a map with each of your schema attributes, and then a list of the errors. Okay. And then, for example, here, if this throws, then I'm going to just pass the errors to form errors, and I'll be access that in the view. So I'm using moustache here. Yeah, I'll call it handlebars just because I can't be bothered to write moustache out every time. But it is moustache, and you can see here, I'm iterating over my form errors. I pick off first name here, and then I'm just turning that back in the view. So then I can have access to each one, and these are all loops here. So from this point here, this is a loop. So we'll get more than one error here, because you can see here, look, this for example, the first name attribute, and then we get a list here. So yeah, this email thing is iterating over the errors. Sorry, here this is an iterator here. Okay, so let's run that. Come back to the web. So I'm just going to press sign up because I want to see all the form of validation errors. So there you go. You can see here. Now I could use HTML here. I could put attributes here in the HTML to require these fields, but I want to check my validation. So yeah, you can see here we're getting the full range of validations here. Now we're not getting the confirm email because you can see here they're both the same. So what we can do is if I just put in, say, this here. Okay, so I have to have this. So if I put in this, it's got to be a valid email for the regex to pass. And then you can see here fields confirm, so fields email confirm and email should match. So you can see there. Okay, so that's shelf form validator. Feel free to check out the GitHub repo, which is here. So if you're interested in opening up any issues with any feature requests, let me know. Just open up the issue first. If you want to work on it, please open up the issue and just clarify it with me, and then you can, if I give you the green light, you can go ahead and work on the issue. But otherwise, please start the library. So just introducing shelf form validator. Thanks very much.